It's burger time. Today I'm going to be using 1 pound of ground beef trimmings from my butcher and a ½ pound of pork. A little extra flavor. What you want to do is mix these together gently, trying not to compact the burger too much or smush it overkill. All you want to do is get a nice mix on it. It's okay if there's a couple pockets of pork here and there that don't get totally mixed in. It'll survive. You just want to mix it pretty well and make sure that it's incorporated as well as you can without overworking the burger. Now that we're done with that, move on to another thing that makes life easier, making individual little wax paper burger separators. This is still going to be pretty sticky to work with since we added pork to it. Usually with just straight beef it's not nearly as sticky, but especially today we'll want to use wax paper because that pork sausage makes things definitely tackier than they normally would be, and it's just too hard to deal with on the grill when you're trying to do things fast with Smashburgers. Because they go so hot and so fast, it's nice to have as many shortcuts as you can. So all I'm doing here is folding a big long sheet of this up into in half and then in half again until you get just about the right size for each individual patty that you're going to make, which for me are about 3-ounce patties, and they end up being about 5, maybe 6 inches in diameter at the max. I also make one large wax sheet to keep the bottom of my burger smasher from getting too messy. My burger smasher is just a cheap, lightweight pot that I use for boiling water when I make sweet tea. All I'm going to do now is portion these out, and when you do this enough times, you sort of get an eye for it. That's about a 3-ounce ball, and that's going to make about a 5-inch patty, which is the perfect size. If you get them up there between 5 and 6 inches, then once they shrink up on the grill a little bit, they're the perfect size for a good-sized hamburger bun. Really a lot easier to press this down than it normally is because I'm using pork here, which makes the overall product softer. Beef is a little bit firmer, so it takes maybe 2 presses for me to get it exactly the diameter I want. Sometimes you forget what you're doing and you mess up and you show it on your videos anyways, so people know that you're human. YouTube cooks are not perfect no matter how much video editing we do. I forgot to put a wax paper sheet down underneath that one, which made it getting off the butcher paper a lot harder than it would have been. There I'm showing you the right way that I should have done it here on this second patty. So put your wax square down first, portion your 3-ounce ball, throw that on top of your little wax square, and use your pot and your big wax sheet to press it out and make another perfect patty. And this time, that comes off a lot easier. I'm going to do a few more of these off camera, but when I have them all done, all 8 patties, I will bring you back here. And just like that, 1.5 pounds of meat, 8 patties, 3 ounces each. I pop these in the freezer for just a few minutes while I head back outside to dump my coals. Just to chill those, make them a little firmer and easier to work with. Here's the rubs I'm going to be using today. After I brush the big stuff off with my bristles, I always come back with a old t-shirt that I saved for this purpose, which is really a useful tool for cleaning up the little stuff. Little bits of grease, things left over from the last cook, getting all the little flakes off your grill. I do not know what life would be like without the infrared thermometer. I cannot believe that I cooked for so many years without one. This is invaluable for doing smash burgers because you want your griddle to be at least 500 degrees. You can see we're getting there. A couple cool spots, but most of the spots on the grill were over 500 degrees, and that's what you want. You can cook all the way up to 700 degrees, but you need to be really careful, and obviously the cook time is going to be much shorter. Here, again, the pork's a little bit sticky and sticking to my wax paper a little more than the beef usually does. But these will still cook really fast, about 90 seconds per side. When you're in that 700 degree range, it's going to be 60 seconds or even less per side. Anyhow, since I have 8 patties, I can normally fit 6 on my griddle, but there's no sense going 6 and 2. We'll go 4 and 4 and cook these babies up. And again, 90 seconds later, they'll be done. I always like to go down with a SPG layer first, salt, pepper, garlic, and Killer Hogs is one of the best, one of my favorites. I go really heavy because I only season these on one side. What I'm going to do after I season them with my John Henry's Texas Brisket rub is I'm going to wait until they're nice and crusty on the first side, flip them over, and that seasoned side will begin to cook, and I'll put cheese on them at that point. But I only season the one side. The reason I do that, the bottom side is going to be the side that hits your tongue first on the burger. That's going to be the side with the seasonings. And then the top side is the side with your cheese. I don't really want my seasonings getting covered up by my cheese, so I just put double the seasonings on what ends up being the bottom side of the patty. And the moment of truth, the first flip. And the only flip if you do burgers the right way. Got pretty good crust on both of those. I'm leaving the second two a little longer. I'd like to see a little bit darker crust, a little bit more crust before I flip them. So giving them an extra 15 seconds, 20 seconds, and see how these babies look. These are looking pretty good, and that pork smells great, and that rub smells amazing on the grill. These cook so fast that I put cheese on them immediately whenever I flip them because, again, they're only going to be on there for a max of 90 more seconds. And if you're cooking hotter than I was, they'll only be on there for 60 more seconds. So put the cheese on right away, and if you need to, throw your lid down to melt that cheese. Alright, the first batch is looking good. And I will stack these up to try and keep them a little bit warmer while I'm cooking the second batch, but just trying to get a tiny bit more sear on these before I pull them off. Sorry for the elbow shot. I know that that's annoying. Here I like to clean off the griddle with my spatula. This is going to be easier in like 60 seconds once that griddle has had a chance to burn those into crispies a little bit better. But just trying to get it clean as fast as I can because I'm hungry and so is my family. Nice little, this spatula is one of my favorite cooking tools. It almost has no flex, it's super heavy steel, and it has a beveled front edge for getting up underneath those burgers. Awesome. It's also a great scraping tool for cleaning off the grill, and once you have it all gummed up, you can simply scrape off the edge on the side of your steel griddle, and it's all clean again, ready for the next batch. We'll throw those down. We'll do the same thing, season on this back side, flip them, put the cheese on, and we'll be ready to get these babies inside and eat. So here's the play-by-play on how I like to make my burgers, my favorite way. My wife made these awesome brioche buns from Costco into garlic butter toast. course, I'm always going to go down with some yellow mustard, some Killer Hogs vinegar barbecue sauce, and I change it up on the barbecue sauces, but definitely my favorite way to eat a burger is Western style, so almost always I'm going to have some kind of barbecue sauce on there. And probably the most important ingredient for texture for me, French fried onions. Love putting these crunchies on both buns, both sides of a Western burger. That awesome salty crunch is phenomenal. And I'm hit or miss with the tomato, but this time of year in the north, we haven't had fresh tomatoes for 5 months, so when we find some nice red juicy ones, you can bet I'm going to throw them down. Again, the lettuce, of course, is not there for flavor, but man, is it good to have some extra crunch on that burger. Love me some bread and butter pickles. More flavor and more crunch. And yeah, I guess we'll throw on a few veggies. It's not just for show, I actually ate them. Gotta do something to clean the arteries out between smoking and grilling. Never mind. So much for the arteries. Here's the secret for fries. Carolina vinegar sauce. If you think malt vinegar is good on your fish and chips, kick it up 3 notches with some homemade Carolina sauce. And no meal at my house would be complete without a glass of Southern style sweet tea. Sometimes I do lemon, sometimes I don't. Tonight I was in the mood. Nothing like a quart of fresh sweet iced tea with a little lemon juice in it to go along with anything that just came off the smoker or the grill. It's the only way to go. Alright, here we go with the payoff. Let's try one of those vinegar hog mop French fries, waffle fries. Malt vinegar is good on fries, but try your hog mop. That'll take it up a notch. It's really good. I got that hog mop recipe from Barlow Barbecue. I've mentioned it before in a video. I'll try and find the link to their video with that recipe and put it back down below again. That's good stuff. Now for the burger. Here we go. Double double. American cheese and everything else you saw me put on there. That never gets old. I can absolutely taste the pork in that. Definitely different. I like it. I wouldn't do it every time, but I like the change up and the flavor. It was stickier to deal with on the grill because that pork is much stickier than beef is. So keep that in mind. Even with wax paper, it still was really sticky, even having been chilled in the freezer. So just keep that in mind. You just have to work with it, but it's worth doing. Try it. I would recommend it. You know, a lot of guys do 3 different kinds of meat in their hamburger grind. Some people throw some lamb in there. You can do all sorts of different things, but with 2 parts beef and 1 part pork, that was really good tonight. I really liked it. This is a great burger. Helps to throw it down with some sweet tea with lemon juice. One of these days I'll do a sweet tea recipe. Anyhow, you can see I'm a big texture guy. We toast the bread, we put crunchy pickles on, we put French fried onions on, got the crunchy lettuce on there, got the crunchy waffle fries.
It's nice having some crunchy textures to go with that hamburger. And man, with those thin patties grilled hot and fast with some char on there, some crust on them too, I'm never going back to thick burgers. This is the way to do it right here. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time.